So next group we're about to bring up, I like to call them the OGs, okay? Because you've heard some stories of people who've been in this industry for 20, 30 years plus, so on and so forth. So you know they have a lot of knowledge to give. All right, so put your hands together for the OGs of UIG, UIGI.
How many more chairs do we need? How many more chairs do we need?
Can you guys hear me? Cool. Good. Let's start with that. All right. What's going on, gentlemen? This is going to be great. One of the things about UIGI, and Rabu just touched on it, is having access, right? And being connected and putting yourself in a position to be connected to various types of people. And as a result of being part of UIGI, I've been able to personally be able to connect it to a large group of people that I was able to learn from, and then being able to build some relationships with these gentlemen here. And you guys are going to hear their stories, and we'll just jump right into it. And I'm excited about this session right here. All right, so so these are, as Rabu mentioned, our OGs, been in the game for a while, made a lot of money. So let's start here. So we'll just go right around, whoever wants to start. So how, if you don't mind, just tell me, how was things prior to getting started with any business, wherever you started, whether that was MLM, becoming just business owners, whatever the case may be, and what led you to where you are right now?
Awesome, good question. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. First thing I want to do is I got to apologize to Rabu real quick. I got here like right at 10 a.m. this morning. And the way I was raised in this industry is if you're not 10 minutes early, you're actually late. So when we would come to events like this, we knew as leaders that it wasn't going to be any fun time. We're going to be at a resort where you ain't going to get to see the bar. You're going to be setting up all night. Well, there's a pool. You ain't going to get a chance to swim. We're going to have a meeting after the meeting, a leadership meeting at 2 a.m. This is how we cut our teeth. So technically, in my mind, I was late because Brandy had me up all night. I don't know what it is about y'all ladies. When you get out the house, you get in a hotel room. She's talking about put your feet up on her. I'm like, I'm 50-something years old. What you talking? I'm overweight. Been up all night. Whistle pig. I ain't had no breakfast. I had to cancel breakfast because I'm like, we got 15 minutes, baby, to get downstairs. She's like, well, 15 minutes. I could take 5, 10 of them. I'm like, hey. We got kids, grown kids at home. You need to, when we get to hotels, I don't know what that tiger spirit is kicking y'all. What was the question? I'm sorry. I had to apologize for being. Don't run out. Don't run out. I'm so sorry, brother. What was the question?
Hey, look, this is gonna be great and fun, I'm telling you. Oh man.
What was the question? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm at to sleep in somebody else's room. We got 2 more nights up in this mug. Back hurting, my knees shot. I'm sorry, man.
Oh man. No, the question is, tell me how things were prior to where you currently are right now.
Gotcha. Well, I was actually introduced to the industry 30-something years ago by my pastor. Several of you probably heard of him, Creflo Dollar. And this is way before, we were setting up chairs in a school. This is way before the church, before the dome was built and all that stuff. And so for me, my background, even though I'm crazy as all I do is actually ministry. And so for me, it was a normal life. And when I say this, it kind of mixes. I've always been a believer. So I've been a believer from a faith standpoint. And so when I went to a meeting and saw a gentleman that reminds me of Rabu standing on the stage, named Delzino Wilson Debriano back in the day, screaming, "We're going to make so much money," I couldn't sleep at night. And so for me, it was a normal life. I was fully involved, fully engaged in my ministry. I've always been a servant. I was shy. I was the guy that literally would post up in the back, and I was a watchdog. I never wanted to be in the front. And so it was a normal life, but I went to a meeting, I tried a product, and that product worked. So I went to another meeting after that, and the speaker didn't show up, and somebody asked me to come up and give my testimony. Well, to me, there's a big difference between a scam artist and a true salesman. A true salesman wants a win-win situation for you as the client or the customer and for themselves. A hustler or a scam artist is simply looking to scam you. So you can be eloquent in speech, you can look good and all of that and be a scam artist. So because I was shy and the product worked, I would have never went up there, gave my testimony, and then somebody else asked me to come to their meeting and give my had they asked me to come do a meeting, I wouldn't have never been in this industry. But they said, give your testimony. I said, I could do that. And that was simple for me.
So I want to just stop. So you mean to tell me your success started by way of giving a testimony?
Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah. Most definitely. So, just a simple lifestyle. I was a believer. And whatever the person on the front of the stage would say, I just fully believed it. And then I was willing to do what it took to get to their level.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Same question. You want?
Respecting my elders up there.
Gray hair's kicking in. Facts tell and stories sell. That's the key. And stories go way back. I was blessed. Thank you, Mom and Dad. My mom's from Germany, and I'm from Detroit. My dad was from Detroit, so I'm black and white. And seriously, it's true. I'm a referee. Okay. So I used to sit there and going through school. I can be both sides. It's kind of neat. But I've seen a lot. So I've seen the white side of growing up, and then I've seen the black side of growing up. And then I'm also part Indian. But the thing is there was a dream way back then, and I saw growth. And one of the things that got me was I was ambitious from my parents. I learned so much. I wanted to strive to be better, be the best. I respect my parents like you wouldn't believe. But the thing was that I never forget. I went and got the paper routes, and then always hung around the most successful people I could find. Started at a young age. And one of the kickers was one of my buddies from high school, swimming at his house all the time and doing everything during the summers after high school. And all of a sudden it was, he came home happy. I was like, dude, what are you excited about? Well, I found this business. Well, tell me. He goes, I don't know what it's about. Come on Sunday. I go, I'm here every day. I'm here at your house every day. Just tell me. And he couldn't. So then he took me to a meeting, or one-on-one, I should say. And then I went to a meeting, and I went and I saw this guy on stage, people, about 500 people in the room. And I saw that guy speaking. I'm like, if he could do it and he's a millionaire, I could do it too.
Amen.
And just, what do I got to do? And I always strive to grab hold of the most successful person in any arena I was in and duplicate that. And if I got hired with a job and there was somebody that was okay, I'm like, who's the top? Who's the top? And I wanted to mirror and learn from them to become the best I could be.
When you take a look at it, for me, it's always been relationships. See, I was a hustler from out of my mom's womb. We didn't have anything, right? So when you was taught work ethic to come down and you was authentic, it was conversations. See, what happens is I was introduced to the industry at 19. I'm 44. And at 20, I made my first 6 figures. And at 28, I became an asset millionaire. And 2 months before my 30th birthday, I was swimming in the bathtub with $1 million cash. That was always a dream. No water. I was like, the money's gonna die and it's gonna get on my clothes. That thing was dry as can be. But the fact of the matter was, I joined the military, certain situation, but I was able to travel the world. So Germany, all 3 of my kids were born over there. And I was able to be because of the job I had, I was able to go to different countries every other weekend. And so the biggest thing was I learned rejection early on. 9 people tell me no, 1 person tells me yes. And so the thing is I never tried to sell anything. I just tried to share a blessing. I came from nothing. Let me show you how I got here at such a young age. And so it was always about relationships first, then partnerships, and then businesses that we formed. And then we shared generational wealth now. And we're just keeping it growing.
For me, I got in this industry. Believe it or not, my wife got me in this industry. She said, we're having a lady come over and give us a presentation. It was a Primerica presentation. I said, whoo. She came over, but what got me was this ring. Not this one, but she had this ring. I was like, Barbara Williams, I never forget her name. And then she invited us to a convention. My wife didn't go, I went to the convention. And that just blew me away. See all the people on stage, just like me, succeeding. And they said, you can do it. And I said, okay. And then I said, if they can do this, I can do this too. And that was it. I was hooked. That was 1994. Now, here's the kicker though. I never made any money. What's this? 30 years, company after company after company. But I enjoyed the relationships, the personal development, and I just was hooked. And that was it.
Good stuff.
Wow. Well, first of all, my name is Kemp. I'm from Philly. And I used to sell Craftmatic adjustable beds. So I was in sales. And I had a gentleman that was there with me, and he was my friend. And he said to me, he said, would I support him? Because he was at an event and he was excited about what he was getting ready to get. And he talked about a checking account, which my life was just twisted. And when he said that, he was getting a checking account. Would I come out there and support him? I said, sure. And I just went out there to support him. That was it. But a week before, my boss told me I had a mandatory meeting. I'm 40 years old at that point. I said, I got a what? He said, you got a mandatory meeting. And I said, what if I don't come? Because he was like from another country. And I was like, what if I don't come? He said, I would take the food off your kid's plate.
Ooh.
That was it. When I went to that event, I sat there. There were 3 questions asked. What if you could live in the house you really want to live in? That wasn't it. What if I could drive a car I really wanted to drive? That wasn't it. He asked the 3rd question. What if you could fire your boss? Wow. I've been running in this game ever since.
That's awesome. All right. So now I want to kind of set the tone here just a little bit. I'm not one to try to get in anybody's pockets, but I would like to know, prior to UIGI, what would you describe as your single best day, week, month, or yearly income, if you don't mind sharing that you've been able to earn in the MLM space prior to coming over to UIGI?
1.3 mil. That was the
No.
1.3 mil.
Day, week, year,
That was the year.
year?
That was right.
Okay.
It was $3,000 in a day.
Okay.
That was it.
I averaged 30 to 40,000 a week. And then I met Brandy. I don't know what happened to the money.
They got more rooms up in the registration. You said prior to,
Yeah, prior to UIGI.
probably 7.6 mil.
Hmm.
2013 was my best year. But now, see, the thing is it's crazy because when I came into, I did 516,000 this year in one day in the crypto world. Because, and it was off a pig. It was a coin. It was a coin I bought with 9 zeros and a 1 at the end. And one night, the ATH hit and 4 zeros popped off.
Wow.
And that joker in my back office, I got a picture of it so I can show any of you. And it was, and in my group, I had ladies that never made money, make 40,000 that night. And I had so many doubters that was in their back office showing 100 grand, but you had to put the slippage up to 50%. And they were like, I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna lose 50,000. But you only put 500 in. And then when it didn't happen the next morning, when I did my picture, they're like, what did you do? I went to 50% slippage. It was $1 million on the table. I took half. But that was with the growth because I was retired, just doing brick and mortar, doing my cars. And then when I came to UIG with Rabu, when we sat down that one night, that was making pretty good daily money. And as everybody say, it's a rotten phase. I pulled $750,000 out the system. So whatever was left in the system, that wasn't lost. That was a lesson.
So prior, I would say network marketing over all those years. And here's what's interesting, is diversity of the different companies and different opportunities. And the opportunities I shared, I guess mine was the education that I got out of the whole system. That was my college, because I started when I was about 21. And then the most success that I had was about 100 grand a year for a couple of years. And then the companies folded. So then I went to another company and they folded. So I was like your average person, but I was trying to strive to get to the top. And right when that door was right about to open it up, then things changed. So then I got ticked off and I said, you know what? Plus the biggest thing that hurt me was I couldn't bring people along because I believed in them more than they believed in themselves, but the system let them down, or the company. So then what ended up happening is I let go of the industry. And I went on my own because of all the belief I had. And I went into the Visa MasterCard business. And now, talking residual income, I created myself. It's, $250,000 a year plus. And I had a goal I'll be a 7-figure income with it. And then I ran into Rabu with projects. I'll put it that way. But when it was UIGI and I knew nothing about crypto, that's why I said, well, let me watch what he does, because I've seen too much stuff where it goes like this and what goes up comes down. But this one was just slow roll and then bolting on more portfolios, more programs. And then when the mortgage notes came through, I'm like, because I had tied it, I did my first 12 years in corporate America was, title insurance. And I loved getting into realtors' face because I go, you got all this status living in LA, all right? And I go, but you don't have any residual freaking income. So get out of my face. I make more than you, because it's just a status out there. But now, thanks to that program, boy, we're going to do some things. So I'm looking forward to what's going on here with crypto. Obviously, I'm green to some of the experience, but from the tenure standpoint, there's a lot of people that want to overcome, and the money that could be made, looking forward to it.
And thank you. And that's going to tie right into my next question. You kind of touched on it. I don't know, maybe you might want to expand upon it a little bit. But being that all of you all are successful, were in prior to coming along at UIGI, what attracted you to UIGI? Why UIGI?
It was definitely the diversity. And then it was something where you could start off by yourself. And my thing was I can always count on myself. I'm sure all the rest of it's like that too, but I could grow it and I can be an example. And if I can win first, then I could teach it. Be an example. And that's what I wanted to do, to be example. And I learned from the best. I shut up and listen. Always been a student, always been a student. I can learn from everybody, even everybody in this room. I'm going to pick up one thing from you. When I went to seminars, my books might just have a phrase in there, might just have a sentence, and that could change my life, and it could change yours, or to change the next person that I talk to. So, what's that sense?
Well, mine was real simple. When I had the conversation with Rabu, it's the same thing. Like when I look at him, we have a lot of similar things in our backgrounds. We've hustled forever in the game. And being a military man, there was a slogan that was taught to me a long time ago. You can't really be nice to folks in the industry because they don't listen. So when we're downrange dodging bullets, I can't say, hey, would you get down? The bullets are coming. They used to tell me, Sayad, sit your ass down and hold on for dear life. And then I heard that over here, and it was real simple. But the fact of the matter was, when I got with Rabu, it was like, I had everything I wanted. My kids are straight, but the fact was, UIG had a system. I already got people. I don't need people. I got people to talk to all day. But when I looked at the capture page and I looked at, you could just send people, I'm like, I'm used to belly recruiting. Hey, let's go have a coffee. Let's talk. Let me get your number. And I'm like, really? You're going to bring me out of retirement? He said, look, buy this promo page and then just send it out in a blast email and wait for them to come to you. You don't have to go to McDonald's and buy the meal to the car behind you no more. And then when I saw that, he's got 2 daughters too, right? And I watched that. Generational wealth is what it is for me, and wealth preservation, leaving the legacy for our kids and their kids. And when I looked at it, somebody said, your 2 best friends, it's not socials and names and emails. Why can't you teach a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old crypto and Forex? And it's on a decentralized block. And I said, hold on. And then the biggest thing what I got out of a conversation with Robert one day, he said, with the little money, you can show them 4 phases. You can show them $150 into what? Daisy. You can put something small into Hyperfund. Now we can go into MetaTrader 5. And then you pick one more. So somebody that's so green, they're so afraid of losing, you got 4 chances. That's a 25% chance. Who's not gonna come gamble with UIGI? So I listened to Fat Joe say the other day on Versus, yesterday's price is not today's price. Come get your ring.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I remember Saya. I like that. I like that. But I'm malnourished, so I don't remember the question. I'm hungry. They got an awesome pastrami sandwich at that restaurant down there.
No, so given the fact that all of you gentlemen up here are widely successful prior to being introduced to UIGI, the question is, why UIGI?
why? And I think you said, and how, and all. And for me, I kind of told that story when I came to get my ring, but it was almost like two comets attracting, not knowing they were coming at each other. And then we just collided. Like I said, it was like I was looking for something that was looking for me at the same time. And that wasn't just Rabu, that was UIGI. And being an MLM full-time for so long, multi-level marketing is just, it's literally a self-development course with a compensation plan. And if there's one thing I love, because I had gotten to the point where I had a love-hate with what I love, which is multi-level marketing. I mean, to be honest with you, Brandy's like, you were doing a presentation in your sleep. Ooh. Literally, she said you were snoring, but you would stop snoring. We'll see you on the second level. You got, I'm serious. So I love the industry, but I started, it was something in my gut. I was just getting tired. And I realized, because I say it all the time, I was tired of leveraging people. I was tired of begging people. I was tired of believing in people more than they believed in themselves. I was tired of driving 8 hours to a no-show. It was part of the game. I was groomed for it, but I was tired of all of that. I drove 7 hours to a meet one time by myself. It was a no-show. That's common. That's part of the game. But the person whose house I went to was so embarrassed. She ran next door and got her aunt to come sit on the front. She had all these chairs. I told her not to do none of that. It looked like an Amway meet when I walked in, John. And so it's a no-show. So I have to watch my face. I have to watch my reaction, because you could break a new person's spirit. They're like, I had Mr. Brown, I ain't Mr. Brown, but in the industry, I had Mr. Brown driveway out here and nobody came. And you can ruin somebody's career by the next thing that comes out of your mouth or your attitude. So I'll do all my cussing when I get in the car. But she ran next door, got her aunt, sat her in the front row, and then her aunt's husband, which was her drunk uncle, was looking for his wife and busted up in the meeting, where my wife at? He sat on the front row and he signed up $4.95 because what I did was, and I learned this from ministry, I watched Pastor Dollar, and I'm answering the question. I watched Pastor Dollar. We traveled. Our first convention was 100 years ago. He travels the world now, offices everywhere. Our first convention was Birmingham, Alabama. Loaded up, drove there. We were so excited, and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up to come here, Pastor Dollar. And I'm in the back, making sure he's straight, make him look up, make sure no boogers in his nose. I told you I was a real servant, right? And he walked out there. I'm thinking we're going to pack it up. We're getting ready to go eat. I'm like, all right, let's go eat. There ain't nobody out there. So he's finishing up makeup and the whole night. He walked out on that stage and preached like it was 1,500 people, 15,000 people in the audience. And when he walked back off the stage, there were so many awe moments that I had. All I could do was, I'm sitting at him because I'm waiting to hear what he's finna say. We're in the back. And he said the Spirit told him that the angels are in every seat and to preach like the arena is full and you'll never preach to an empty seat again. So I applied that lesson to my MLM business. And so you're never moved by the audience. It doesn't matter how many people. It doesn't matter if somebody falls asleep on you. You don't get offended. You continue with that 7-step effective presentation. And the drunk uncle sign up. I had people fall asleep on me, wake up and sign up because you're focused on the mission. But I started falling out of love with all that. I don't know what it was. And I started looking for a system. Long story short, somebody told me about UIGI. I'm low tech, but I know before I even think about reaching out to this man, I need to be plugged in. See, so many people want to take up your time and ask you all these questions, but are you plugged in? Did you get positioned? The pitcher's not going to throw the ball until the catcher squats down and get in position. So many people don't get their blessings because they're not in position to receive from God. And it's the same thing in the financial realm. Are you in position? So with my low-tech self, I signed up in every single platform. And I had the nerve to ask him a question. And he actually replied. This is all on what's the inbox thing on Facebook Messenger. So he was asking me about, he was like, well, who introduced you? Because he wanted to make sure he wasn't cross-recruiting me. So my decision's already made. I'm rolling with you. I'm already signed up. And then he was hitting me with these other questions. I said, Mr. Gary, that's too many questions for me to type. I'm low tech. Is there any way we can talk next week, whatever? And he wrung my face. He said, I never do this. And so for me, it was just a gravitational pull. When I saw what the organization was about, what the thought pattern was, it was a wrap for me. I mean, I could talk on and on about that because it's almost like it happened yesterday for me. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, sir.
For me, the reason I joined or what attracted me to it, anybody could do it. It was easy. Didn't require me to, I guess, talk to a lot of people because I got tired of dragging people along. They not being successful. The reason I think they weren't successful, looking back on it, you don't know what people do when they're not in your presence, when they go home. They're looking at TV, I would say, or whatever, unproductive things they might be doing, why they wouldn't come along and be successful after you poured and poured and poured into people. And so that's what it was. I didn't have to drag people along. It's just easy. Anybody can do it.
UGI, oh, UIGI.
UIGI.
Rabu is my friend. Me and Rabu would just talk. Rabu would say what he was going to do. I tell him, oh, that's what's up. I'm gonna look at it. He would just, that's it. And at the end of the day, when you take all of these things, he says, there's one statement, Danny Johnson, who's my mentor, coach, remember her, right? Your income will never exceed your personal development. Your income, I don't care what it is, your income will never exceed your personal development. And once I learned that, my other coach, Myron Golden, there's things that you hear, and Les Brown will say, I ain't gonna say nothing you ain't heard before. Hopefully this time it resonates with you. But it has to resonate. I ain't gonna say it, but you've heard it. We've seen it, right? So when I look at UIGI, every principle, when you look at what we're talking about, residual income, you ask him, his mentor, you look at this guy, everybody knows him, Holton Bugs. Everybody knows him. You listen to Holton. Holton does, he said, guys, I done spent 50 million on a piece of property. How many of y'all know what the last property he purchased in real estate? We're sitting on that property right now. Ooh. Huh? Okay. They wrote him a check. He could, like, you got, why UIGI? Who followed him? Who do you follow? At the end of the day, when you look at UIGI, if you don't follow, and at the end of the day, I don't tell nobody what to do anyway. I like to have fun. I'm a fun guy. All I do is travel and have fun. What you doing? Man, oh my God. How the heck you gonna go on an 8-day cruise, $284? You wanna hang out with me? That's all I did. It just makes sense, period. And at the end of the day, then who's he following? Jeremy. Who do he follow? Anybody know Jeremy? Daisy. UIGI. Daisy. How much would it cost you to go into Endotech? $125,000. You had $10 million. You had to have $1 million worth of coverage just to get in. And look at this, because of connections. Connections. Who's the pace setter leader? Kemp Satchel. Did you see Daisy this morning? Yeah. Hello, did anybody see Daisy?
Yeah.
Did y'all check it out? If you didn't, you might want to go and look. Daisy. Let's take a look. 100 and what? 104%. Why UIGI? Come on, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, next question. Maybe we can make this a twofold thing.
Mhm.
So obviously being, attaining the level of success that you all have had, there's been some ups and downs
Mhm.
on this road.
Mhm.
So my question to you, number one, is if you don't mind, or if you just want to either share an experience that was, I don't want to say like a bad experience, but something, a challenge, if you will, right? Share a challenge, how you overcame that challenge, right? And then maybe that ties into the second question, which is now, how does that prepare you in terms of any success habits that you would like to share with us here today?
Personal development. I don't have to say nothing else. Personal development. I won't say nothing else. Personal development. Every morning, for me, I do a personal development call. Every morning. And when you look at that, you read, like we're reading every day. Just like you work out. I can tell you work out every day. No matter what, personal development is everything, babe. When you look at it, I don't care how you look at it, life is nothing but lessons and tests. Once you pass that test, you don't have the lesson until you pass the test. And some are more costly than others. And at the end of the day, there ain't nothing that can shake me up. I don't get messed up. My mindset, like I don't get into arguments with my wife. We don't have to look at stuff like what's the negative, I don't do none of that stuff. Man, life is just, and the easier life is, the easier you will attract money into your life. When you get that pitfall and you got all these grudges, you stopped your income.
Yes, sir.
Yes. When you got the flow of it, like it's a parking space. Oh, I ain't gonna park in the front because I know it ain't no parking space. Well, guess what?
It ain't gonna be one.
The parking space ain't gonna be there. But if you truly believe that parking space, your money will come just as easy, just like that. What's the process? Look, I heard it one day. His pastor was being Dollar was being interviewed by some interviewer, and he says, "What's this prosperity ministry?" Prosperity. It ain't no such thing as prosperity ministry. If you let your money grow, it's going to prosper. Why you want to label him? So those things, at the end of the day, you look at these books T.D. Jakes writes, read them. Look at these movies. Don't look at them and entertain yourself, educate yourself. And those are the things that just helped me throughout this whole, I ain't gonna do all, just relax, sit back, and enjoy the ride. Thank you, UI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would say personal development as well. The one pitfall I can think of just recently, because I didn't listen to my coach or a mentor, I had lost level 10 in Daisy. Let's say what it would cost to do level 10 in Daisy, doing a platform called All Bullish. And my wife said, "Did Rob who tell you to do that?" I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't listen this time." So it gave me a kick in the pants and how to recover from that. So that was one of the things that just, I don't know even what to say, what it did, but I don't know, a bad feeling in your stomach. But it's okay. You move past it and you learn from your mistake and you keep going forward and whatnot. And that's just it.
I would say pitfalls would be when a company would fail us. You know, we'd have a bunch of people because something that's very important in this industry is your name and your, not so much your reputation, but how people perceive you. You want to protect that at all costs, you know, and we would have so many people believe, you know, and just train them, build them up, and then a company would falter. So it would usually be the company letting me down from a personal standpoint, if you're talking about failures, because I was always in for, you know, almost 40 years, I've just been in, and it would be a company let me down, whether it would be through growth, through scamming out. Scamming out is a new term to me from the crypto space, you know, but in any event, the way we would overcome that is for me, just not quit. I'm like a shark. I have to keep moving. I almost can't relate to people that quit. I don't get it. I know it happens, but it doesn't register. Okay, you look like now in the crypto space, I used to lose people, now I lose money. And I still, but we make a lot of money too. You know, I hate to keep bringing Brandy's name up, but she doesn't know, she does not know the majority, because when I talk to her about finances, sometimes she'll break down crying. So I can't tell her I just lost 20 in this, or because I'm winning in that. So you have to just keep going.
Yes, sir.
You know, for me, it's pretty simple.
Don't say nothing about Brando.
Oh, Brandy. Brandy, I already called the reception concierge for you. He's down in the basement with me, the janitor. But you know, I tell people all the time, 3 lessons you can learn. One, the biggest thing is professional development, right? Personal and professional. Reading is fundamental, knowledge is power. But everybody says they want to get paid. But in order to get paid, you got to have passion, action, integrity, and determination. Without that, you ain't paid. They're going to see right through you. And so when you take and follow the system, because we have so many people all the time. You're an example, right? You could have been Daisy level 10, but you didn't list the Rabu. So now you're saying, how do I make it up? Well, don't worry about it, because half this room is the same way. And those listening, we find something and we say, Rabu, Craig, all of us, I got the next one. No, it's not a part of the system. Hold on, Sayad, and just let it go. It's going to come. But really, practice paid. Your passion will do it for you. The action you take today, not tomorrow, right? Your integrity goes a long way, and the determination will pay you millions and change the commas in your bank account.
Ditto. Attitude to overcome, reading, self-development. But understand there's always going to be the speed bumps of life. And it may be a wall. It's good, but you know what's always behind it is a person or people. People are going to let you down. Okay, the ones you love. Okay, so that's help. The other thing is when it comes like lists of people, just go through share with friends and family, get them out of the way. So I don't believe in an NFL club. The reason why I don't believe it, get through your people, and then when you talk to new strangers, you're going to grow your business fast. You will soar. Okay, so I kept hearing an NFL thing, and it always drives me nuts. But the other thing is, besides its attitude, the best attitude that you can develop for yourself will create your altitude. I like what you said on that. You know, it's everything. And then my big thing is we're all about our DNA, our decisions in action. And that's what fails a lot of people. They don't make a decision, or maybe they do make a decision, but they don't put it in action. Because I'm results oriented. Once we get results, that's what it's about. You do it as a parent. Oh, I love teaching this one. When people complain about anything, and I love to use ladies as examples, I go, quit being so microwave, let's get it right now. How long does it take? Do you love your child? What pain did you go through for 9 months to have that child? Okay, you loved it in the beginning of the concept, but all the morning sickness and everything else and the weight gain and all this other stuff. And then what, you had that baby and you would do anything for the rest of your life for that person. Okay. So with that, treat this business, patience, every step, but everyone wins here. That's UGI, UIGI.
This was, this was awesome. This was awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. And with that, I guess we're finished here and move on with the next program. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you, sir.